Sweet seduction. Nicotine deep thing. Sweet seduction. Nicotine deep brain. Sweet seduction in a magazine. Endless pleasure in limousine. In the back shakes tambourine. Nicotine from a silver screen. Sweet seduction in a magazine. Endless pleasure in limousine. In the back shakes tambourine. Nicotine from a silver screen. Sweet seduction in a magazine. Endless pleasure in limousine. In the back shakes tambourine. Nicotine from a silver screen. Sweet seduction in a magazine. Endless pleasure in limousine. In the back shakes tambourine. Nicotine from a silver screen. Sweet seduction in a magazine. Endless pleasure in limousine. In the back shakes tambourine. Nicotine from a silver screen. Sweet seduction in a magazine. Endless pleasure in limousine. In the back shakes tambourine. Nicotine from a silver screen. Sweet seduction in a magazine. Endless pleasure in limousine. In the back shakes tambourine. Nicotine from a silver screen. Sweet seduction in a magazine. Endless pleasure in limousine. In the back shakes tambourine. Nicotine from a silver screen.
Oh boy, what a day, what a day. It's Thursday, September 19th, 5 in the morning Pacific Standard Time. The devs come online in just under an hour to reveal what might or might not be coming. Let's talk about it.
Trying to dig the way out. I'm only in attack, dog. How late you wanna stay out? It's past the curfew when it's dark. I'm searching for you in the park. Shady murdered him, another person. He just hit his mark. He bet his quota for the month. They found the coda all rolled up inside a bag. He probably dragged the body for about a block.
What's good, everybody? Hope you're having a good morning if you're in the US. But all you other people who are probably on here, it's probably your afternoon or evening. What is good? Good to see all the banditos together for the big day. So if you're just now catching up, or if you don't know what's going on, well, we've been expecting a PTS here in September. It was casually mentioned in some of the chat logs on Twitter by Daria several weeks back on one of the maintenance patches, I think. The one that I think revealed it went sour. The one that gave us the Keener Manhunt, the final Manhunt chapter. It was that one. There were some chats going on there. And so we've all been kind of twiddling our thumbs going, hey, what's going on? Because it's kind of been really quiet, right? And, you know, that's not new. So that doesn't really worry me, right? Because that's not new. That's the Massive's way. They're always really quiet, or they have been for years. And we've been waiting to hear about what or how the pivot is going related to the seasonal characters. So they hit us with that news. I think that was the beginning of this season, right? It wasn't that long ago, but these seasons are stretched out. It feels like it was forever ago. But I think it was the beginning of the season, and told us about the seasonal characters that were coming up. And of course, there was an uproar from the community. Just nobody really dug the idea. And, you know, for many reasons. But at the same time, we're all really desperate for new content, right? This game is in its mature stage of its life cycle, and we're all kind of waiting for Division 3. We know that's been announced, and it looks like they're hiring for some key positions. I don't know if Julian Garrity, if I'm saying his name right, is transitioned officially yet, but potentially. Hey, do you guys see the constellations back there and the stars? I just not noticed that. I'm not sure if I actually noticed real constellations in the stars before. Huh. I mean, the moon for sure, but is that the Big Dipper back there? Sorry, got sidetracked by that. But so, like, I don't know if because, Star Wars is going through some technical issues and, it's a big game. It's a big title. So they just released. So, yeah, the game was behind schedule. It was supposed to release a long time ago. Was that 7 months ago? I think it was like January originally. Maybe March. But either way, it's been a while. And they extended. But it hit. And, they're just trying to get it. They're going through the strokes, typical new game strokes, bugs, and community drive, and feeling out what the players think about it and trying to make their content schedule accordingly. But either way, Division 3, what are we, a year, 2 years, 3 years? But from the little information that we have, it seems like they're just getting started, probably in the planning stages. I mean, one of those positions was hiring, I think, a writer of some sort, like a narrative director or something like that. Perkinini, appreciate you. So,
Ha! That's my boy.
So that's story, right? So that's story. So I think they need to write out the story before they develop it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's been a lot of upgrades to Snowdrop because other games are running on it right now. I think Star Wars is on Snowdrop. Definitely X Defiant is on Snowdrop. So they've been upgrading that system. So I think it's probably on its way to be ready for the Division 3. Who knows what else technical has to be done. I don't know. But so, maybe that gives them a leg up on their development. But there's this question of Heartland. Everybody wonders what's going to happen with that basically fully developed game. Are they going to use parts of that? Are there lessons to be learned? Anyways, it's all bigger topic than we're probably going to get into today. So the question is, what are the devs going to reveal? So we know there's a PTS, and that PTS preload starts today. That's what we know. We know the server opens tomorrow and it runs 3 days. Will there be a second phase or just one? I don't know. I think last time we only got one phase, didn't we? But for 3 days, a 3-day PTS doesn't sound like... Okay, I'm going to start going down into this speculation world. So as you can see on like the thumbnail of this video, cautiously optimistic. That is the theme for the day. Okay, so I'm really hoping we get everything that they promised. That's what I'm hoping for, right? I'm rooting for the devs here. We need them to hit one, out of the park for us. Because we've just been downcycling lately, right? And it's like, I want a W here for the Division 2 because we've had 2 really bad seasons. This is one of the worst seasons I have ever played in the Division 2. And I was here in the Dark Ages, okay? Like, I hung in during the Dark Ages, and I believe this is a worse season than then, So, yeah, that's just my opinion. But so now we need a W. We need to turn it around. We need to bring some of these players back. More importantly, we need something to do. We need something to grind for. We need really good gear to come along with these missions. So seasonal characters is apparently out. Now, we haven't heard any details related to this. The last bit we heard on this was that the plan was to remove it. There were key words there. They said the plan is to remove it, but they didn't say they were going to. They said that was the plan. So we're looking for confirmation at this stage. And then there were a lot of other elements in season 2.0 besides the seasonal characters that they were trying to salvage. So as you can imagine, that sounds like quite an undertaking for a developer team that is undersupplied, under-budgeted, probably. Who knows, right? But we know that they don't have the resources that they need to even maintain the servers that we have now. They have a very hard time with it, just basic updates. So taking a major undertaking that was a considerable chunk of their budget and scrapping it hurts the game. We pay for that. We do as players, right? So although we didn't want seasonal characters, and some people were like, see, now this is what you get, but it's not our fault as a player base, right? They missed, and they will continue to miss until they gain the community's trust. And that's where the communication part comes in, and that's why we need more of what we're going to be getting today. And so the question is, I think that we're all asking inside of our heads is, will Seasons 2.0 launch on time? And on time would be at the end of this season when this season ends. Now here it says 4 weeks and 4 days. That says what? October 23rd or some shit like that. That's way out there, right? But if you look in here, the season ends in 2 weeks, right? Approximately. So this comes in basically 5 days. And this comes during the Golden Bullet event, but we haven't had spacing between seasons in a while. We used to back in the day have 2 weeks between seasons during the golden days, but now I'm not sure. What's up, Loki? So when we haven't had it in a while, but will we have a delay this season? Maybe small delay, wouldn't bother anybody, I'm sure. But will we get the big package or part of the big package that was initially planned to launch, which we're calling Seasons 2.0. So Seasons 2.0 was the bigger picture. Within that was seasonal characters. Let's just make sure that's clear. And so the seasonal characters, although what appears and what we will assume from this point going forward is that it's been striked from the agenda, there's still lots of other elements. And I'm sure they're going to recap that. But there's new missions, there's a new difficulty level related to that mission. They're going to be dripping seasonal content to us on a weekly basis. That doesn't look like it's going to take a bunch of time. It's sort of going to feel a little bit like these scavenger hunts we're doing. They're almost, I feel like, a testing ground for what's coming. That's the way I see it, but I really don't know. But yeah, so that's sort of where we're at. And, their language was interesting in their post. Okay, so for one, I just got to tell you, for a PTS that's only a couple of days has me feeling like, these are just my feelings, okay? And I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like we're just going to get a normal season here. Okay, because that's the type of PTS where you're just testing gear and you're just testing, the new exotics. 3-day test, But at the same time, they may not include the Seasons 2.0 package in the PTS because they don't want to spoil it. They want it to be experienced live and the community to all experience it at the same time. So that's also possible, right? So, but at the same time, like Countdown, we tested in the PTS. The Summit was in the PTS. Those were all new game modes. I think, can't remember if Descent was or not. But, so why would they change here? I don't know, but that worries me because this is their language. I'm just going to read it word for word here. So it says, TU22 PTS is nearly here. We'll be going live on September 19th. If you don't know, PTS stands for Player Test Server, and it's only for PC players because they don't have the resources or the time to get approvals from Microsoft and Sony, and that's why it doesn't make it to console. Okay. So we'll be going live on September 19th. That's today for a casual stream to break down the new season updates and talk about season 2.0. Bring your questions. We'll see you there. So that's the part that kind of has me nervous. I know I'm reading into this. There's no, you can read into it the other way too, but it says to break down the new season updates. Sounds like a typical season to me, but here it says, and talk about seasons 2.0 and talk. It just seems like it's a soft approach to a delay. You know what I mean? That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about that we're going to get hit with a delay on seasons 2.0. And I really don't want that to be the case. You know, 2 hard seasons and then a third one to go with it. That's a year, man, right? Because our seasons are 4 months. And that needs to change. We need to go back to 3 seasons. But against all the games, good morning.
Ha! That's my boy!
Against all ads, sorry. I'm sitting here, I'm in a monologue state. So sorry if I'm not catching your guys' comments. Good morning, good morning. Jaco in the house. It's always a good day when I catch Jaco live in his time zone. Brass Bat, what's good, man? Alexia's back for more. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Dragon. What else we got in the house? Parabellum. Sick Jim was here first, everybody. Where were you guys? Roberto. Monroe. What's good? It's nice and early, Mr. Davis. It's nice and early here. 5:24. The 5X event, it says it starts in 1 week. And they increased the cap to 1,000 levels, which you could still hit. But, I mean, it'd be an interesting contest to see if we can reach the cap. We should run a contest for that because that sounds like fun. You know what I mean? Like, get a squad together. There's some good farms, you know, that you could do. Just level the hell out of your character. Break the server. Reaper, you know what I'm talking about. Ricardo from the UK. So I'll be turning down the music or turning off the music during the live stream so we can focus. I'll be taking notes. I'll do a recap when they go offline, and then I'll make a video to download my thoughts to everybody that couldn't make the stream or in case you missed something. So don't worry about that. I'll get it out immediately after, as soon as possible. I'm here standing in the rain. Are you guys taking care of your projects? I need to do mine. So I got the jacket and then the crane pants, just MLK Memorial. We could do that while we're waiting. Time's gonna fly here. So I need to keep my eye on their channel, which I am doing in the background. And then we'll crank it on just a little bit early, and we'll do a little sound audio check because I have to switch the audio over to their comms. Make sure you turn up your volume when we do that because they like to talk nice and quiet. Kenley Farm? Is that a thing? You'll hit 1,000 in 3 hours, Reaper? That's nasty, man. That's disgusting. 1 hour in 1,000 in 3 hours is nuts. What you guys think? Okay, let me see if I got my striker skill build here because I usually do. Yes. Let me pull that one over. Actually, I think I have it saved. Let's see if I do. You're in here somewhere, aren't you? Is that you? No. That's you. All right, but we're missing some pieces. There's one. There's two. I hate switching characters, so I'm trying to avoid that. Because that's where this other stuff would be. But I can... we don't want to run the chest. Let me just put on a knee that gets us close. There we go. And then... Yeah. Was it a creative director? It was something in those lines. A creative director... against all ads. That's a big position. That's Julian Garrity. That's what's his face? Yannick. That's a big position for their games. Is that what you saw? I thought I saw a different role. I pinned it or I reposted it. I should go to my channel and see. See, we're looking for a narrative director. That's the one that I saw. Narrative director for Division 3. Is that what you're thinking of? Yeah, the narrative director. That's what I was saying. Like, that's story. So, you know, they still need to flesh out the story for Division 3. Possibly. Or maybe it's written and they just need to edit it. But Starfield launches its expansion here on the 30th. That's crazy. By the way. Okay, chess piece. Because I gotta get my pants, man. Yeah, we can do that. And then let's go ahead. See here. Let's change this to kinetic momentum. What do you guys think of the gun? The new gun that's coming, whatever it's called. I'm a little iffy about it. I hope it's good. You know, it's more damage, but it's on the what looks like to be the police magnum, and I don't know, that weapon doesn't hit very hard, but it is borderline. But with the weapon buff to it, what you'd want to do is be able to chain kill with it. And then I'm thinking like, well, how am I going to choose this over determined, right? How am I going to choose that talent over determined? I'm not. That's how. Okay, so let's put on our skill tiers now. So let's see here, this menu. Yeah. Yeah, it's a pistol. It was revealed earlier because it's in the tinkering station, or really the expertise system to level it up, so you could see it there, but you couldn't see the talent. And then the talent was in the notes, the patch notes for the current event. I didn't want to make a whole video about it just because it wasn't that exciting, so I didn't. You know what I mean? I mean, if it was like super, like, yeah, I mean, we'll make builds out of it and we'll see if we can do. So I'll review it from that perspective, but I didn't want to get ahead of it, you know? Felt a little unnecessary. The servers are bad right now. It sucks. Anybody else having server problems on the PlayStation? Are you stateside? Are you on the central servers? The rest of us? Okay, so our project is we got to clear this. And, you know, I'm just going to casually do it while we talk shop here. Oh, you're on the east side. Okay. I'm still seeing a lot of people are having issues with grouping up. 30 more minutes, Ghost. 30 minutes. I usually have a timer up, but I didn't have any time to get one going. I could try if you guys give me a second here, if you don't mind. Let me hide in the corner here. Where nobody can see me. Let me put a timer up on the screen so that we can all keep track together. We need to count down. Count up. Count down. How many seconds is 27 minutes? $1,620. There we go. Okay. So there's our timer in the bottom. So, I mean, it's probably a minute behind or something like that. So we'll shoot over before we get there. But 1,000 levels in 3 days. Yeah, we were talking about that, Joy. A minute ago. I mean, the first thing that would come to mind would be an Eclipse build. The question would be, though, I'd have to say is, are we doing this in team or not? I mean, if you really want to hit that number, you're going to want to do it in a team. Just casually moseying on into my territory, are we? Get some trophies. It sounds like an interesting challenge. I mean, we don't get that kind of challenge too often, so that's why it's kind of interesting. Like, I mean, you know, I mean, that's the problem with open world looters shooters, right? I mean, that's what we do is we grind. So you give us something to grind for, we're gonna grind it. And that's like 1,000 levels, challenge accepted, right? That's how it feels. I get it. I get it. I mean, I don't need 1,000 levels at all, but sounds interesting. So one of the things I'm wondering if we're gonna get is that additional element to our builds that was originally planned for this season. So there was supposed to be something that we're gonna be farming for. And then there's player expressions also. So curious. I'm nervous, actually. Honestly. Thinking about it. Like, got that excited, nervous feeling. Fall back! Fall back! Clear the corner. One thing I would really like them to do is just speed up my character. That's all I want to do. I want to run faster, but I don't want it to be because of those stupid Acosta knee pads. It wasn't enough. I didn't feel faster when I used them. I just didn't feel fast. And there's so many conditions to it. Just give us a stamina bar. Call it good. Hell of a fight. They made this one thick, huh? Just our luck. We had an elite convoy. Really? These guys like to soak up bullets, don't they? Good morning. We're here. Oh, supply convoy? Oh, it's the same supply convoy. Ooh, that could be trouble. We might be in the wrong spot. Yeah, we are. Thought it was a elite patrol. Thank God we got ammo. Who's behind me? Really? Way over there? Oh my God. That's the other thing. Their aim is impeccable. You know, for some ragtag street faction, you know? They're all Olympic shooters. And I need to talk to the guy that fits them for armor, because these guys got some serious armor too. Look at that. Full striker mag. The trusty striker skill build, though. Very trusty. You take it anywhere. Not so much in Countdown, though. Those hunters will steal your skills, no doubt. There you go. Give me some pants! I'm here for the pants. There they are. I do like me a good fight, though. Not gonna lie. This spot always puts out some good fights, huh? What's the other one that Overwatch? What is this one over here? Overlord? Overgrowth. That's the one. That one puts out some good fights too. All right, let's check out our pants now. Oh my god, it would totally Dante. Man. I just hate how slow our characters are. I'll take that over seasonal characters. I would. Just that. I'm easy to please, really. Because I just know, you know, we're gonna get that that new season, and that's what I'm excited for, you know. Or a new game, Division 3. Was the coat here? Okay, here we go. All right. It's not too bad. With cowboy boots or without? Probably without, huh? And then should we wear that? Yeah, that's pretty sick. Why do I look so short? I look short. Did it shrink me? That's cool though. I mean, I think it's Chinese, so that's kind of a Japanese mask, but it's all good. Well, cross culture. Okay, let's see what's next on our project. Mooncake project. Crane boots, complete activities in Juicy Square, 4 of them. Okay. Let's bounce. I thought I grabbed ammo. Apparently not. OG in the house. What up, OG? Okay, I'm not too far behind. Ooh. All right. Give me a sec. Can you hear that? I don't think you can hear that. So they got their pre-show rolling, so I'm gonna change it. Give me a second. We'll do a sound check as well. So let me turn off the music, turn off the game sound, turn off that. And then this is, all right. Make sure it's not clipping. It's apparently the way it is. That number, their timer, it's clipped. Yeah, it's clipped. Okay, I just had to confirm. So we don't want to lose picture. Okay, so we need to do an audio check. So, can I get an audio check? Can you hear the Division's music in the background? Okay, cool. Thank you. You guys rock. Their audio tends to come in really quiet, so I mean, I have this as high as it can go. Refresh that. You have 195,000 followers, huh? I just wanted to make sure the volume's all the way up. All right, we're in. In 11 minutes, we learned everything.
Did we just become best friends? Welcome to the Players Club.
Oh, sorry, I accidentally muted myself. When did I do that? I was talking for a minute. The preload's supposed to be today, but what time, right? They'll tell us. Probably after the stream. I know Latina blesses us with her presence. Can you believe it? Latina, how come I never get you on my streams? It's because she's too cool for me. She's too cool. You let her out of the basement? She's always bossing me around anyways, so. Tux, you gotta do this. Tux, you gotta do that. Except with a Latina accent, which I can't do. This is gonna be crazy, man. I'm just thinking about all the possibilities. How much are they gonna show us? What are they gonna talk about? So that guy Pele, the one that does their costume design and weapon design, you know, he's mentioned some stuff that in October and November, apparently they got some interns that have been working with him. And he said that their work is gonna, you know, go live in October and November. But what work? Is it just standard apparel event stuff or something bigger and greater? Dante, I think they did during Division Day. It was some masks. We got masks. Those gold masks, if you remember those. Did you guys catch the story behind those masks? It was really interesting. Apparently, the masks were for Sokolova and crew. For the mansion. What do you call it? The Merit Estate? Like something about costume parties, and they imagined that's what they would have worn to their costume, their fancy parties for the elite 1%ers. Merit Estate. You guys been staying up on the lure? I haven't. Those comms coming out of the descent. I kind of don't like that they lock them behind that. Oh, that Silver Creek stuff. That just makes us sad, right? King Art, there you are. We can now start. King Art has showed up. What up, Art? The man has arrived. Totally super. But so could the summit, right? I was saying the summit should be turned into an XP farm. Man, that'll get people playing it. Right? Am I right? 30 seconds. So I won't be talking over the devs, so you know. And we will digest it all right after. But I will be participating in chat mostly.
Hello everyone, and welcome to BTS livestream. My name is Daria.
Can you hear their voices? Sound check, real quick.
And today with me, our usual guest, Yannick,
Hello.
Creative Director on Division 2. And as you can see by the background and the way we're sitting, we're actually in a very tight space here. And there is a green screen behind us, and poor George is holding it, so it's not going to be a long stream probably because, I mean, we can't count on George to hold it for more than 1 hour, obviously.
It's a very small green screen.
Yeah, so that's why we're so cramped here. But why are we here today? That's the main question. And the answer is very simple, because tomorrow we start PTS for 222 for year 6 season 2, and yay! And today we want to show you a few new features that are going to be on the PTS and also later available with the seasonal release, and basically walk you through some of them. We'll be having a live Q&A in the end of the live stream, so if you have any questions, our community managers will be happy to collect them for me and Yannick to answer later. And of course, if you have any questions that are going to pop up during the live stream, if you're curious about some certain features that we're going to show today, you're also welcome to leave all your questions. And one important thing, like the reason why we have the green screen and we're not sitting in our usual podcast room is because we actually going to be showing you the gameplay build. And that's the reason why Yannick is here. Oh, there are two of them.
This actually feels like old days to be like sitting in front of a PC and doing live gameplay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
exciting.
And now there are two of them. They are the same picture. So, okay, we'll start with Seasonal Journey, one of the new features.
Yeah. So let's be into it. So this is actually the PTS build. So that's the one that's going to be made available to all players. So yeah, we thought it's just going to be easier to just show you instead of just sitting in a nice room and just looking at cards and talking about stuff. Let's just show it how it is in game. So this is your first exclusive early preview of the PTS build. You'll notice a first difference here. We've actually changed a bit the camera angle on the character selection screen because we thought it just looks a bit better. But yeah, let's get into the game. Fingers crossed that live gameplay is going to work, because it's always a risk.
I mean, that's
it was working earlier.
PTS build for you, right? So anything goes.
Yeah. And as usual, of course, this is PTS, so everything you see here is subject to change. Some elements are still work in progress. So if this is different when the update actually goes live, don't be surprised. As you know, PTS is always still a bit of a work in progress build. So what should we start with? So.
Seasonal Journey, new progression system.
Yes. So as you know, with this update, we're changing seasons. And the idea is to kind of try to change a bit the mix and to create a bit of a different experience with the season, and try to have the ingredients so that with every season we can offer something that is a bit different and a bit fresh. as opposed to today, where every season, eventually becomes a bit repetitive. So we have a few systems, a few new things we want to show you here in terms of what that means. And the first one is, yes, the seasonal journey. So what you will notice is when you go into the season screen now, this is actually quite different now. There's 4 tabs you will see up there. We have the season pass, the journey, priority objectives, and the events timeline. On the PTS, you will just have access to journey and priority objectives. The other 2 are blocked. But so the journey in itself, what this is this is a new way to progress into, into the season. So instead of progressing your season and your season pass by just gaining XP, by doing whatever and trying to find the most optimized way to gain XP, you will now have a journey that is a series of missions, each one of them made of a bunch of objectives. So the idea here is to help and guide you a bit more through the season progression by giving you increasingly harder and more time-consuming objectives. And this is your main way at the beginning of the season, at least, to gain season progression. So you will see that on each of those journeys or each of those missions, we give you some rewards. So that can be materials, that can be XP, that can be a bunch of things. Of course, the season pass XP here, and you also get. So this is the reward here. I hope people actually see my pointer. Yes, this is the reward here for completing that whole mission. This is here, what you see here is just the details and the rewards for each one of those objectives. So each objective you complete gives you reward, and then when you complete the whole mission, you will get a bigger pack of rewards. And as you complete the mission, then you unlock the next one, and so on and so forth. These are not timed or time-gated, so you can do all of them at once when the season starts, depending on which pace you wanna have in your progression. And one thing that's important to note is that you actually have 8 objectives here, but you only need to complete 6 to complete that mission and unlock the next one. So the idea is to give you a bit of choice. If there is one objective you really don't want to do, you can skip that one because you have enough options to actually still complete that mission and move on to the next one. So as I said, you gain reward for doing those missions. And so there are 7 missions in this season. And starting from the 4th mission, you're going to see something here, which is the Isaac mod unlock. And as you know, and we'll show that a bit after, one of the big changes with this new season formula is that we are going to have seasonal modifiers now that are going to be altering the way you play and give you new build opportunities. So the seasonal journey is going to be one way for you to unlock some of those modifiers. The ones that we call active modifiers are going to be unlocked through that journey. So you unlock one here, one on the next mission, and another one on the mission number 6. And then you have a final mission for extra rewards. So this is where you're going to be unlocking the active modifiers. And that's going to be, as I said, the main way of gaining season progression in the initial moments, in a way. Once you have maxed out that season journey, you can actually move on to the next system, which is this one, priority objectives. Priority objectives are unlocked directly, just to be clear, so you can do that alongside your seasonal journey. But those keep going even after you've completed your seasonal journey. And the idea with the priority objectives is that this is a pool of, 3 assignments. And you get a limited amount of information when you get to pick one. So you have to see, depending on how much time you want to invest into it, what kind of rewards are you after, and where do these take place. So you see this one is that it's going to be a stronghold in Washington DC. You don't know which stronghold, but you know that it's going to take some time. But you're going to get some XP. Of course, the XP is going to scale depending on how long the activity actually takes. This one is a mission in Washington DC as well. Or open world activities. So there's a bunch of different things. All of that is going to be picked at random every time you do one. So you never really know what you're going to get. But yeah, this is a great way for you to unlock rewards. These also provide season progression and season pass XP. So that's another way for you to gain that progression and a way to continue gaining progression once you've maxed out your season journey.
One thing I want
Yeah.
to mention that we only have Washington DC here, but it would be possible to get objectives that are set in New York, and even once we get the new DLC, it's also going to become a part of the selection.
Yeah, so you can get objectives in different maps. Of course, you always have alternatives. So you can get an objective in New York even if you don't own the Worlds of New York DLC, but that's okay because you will always have the other two that are going to be in Washington DC. So the aim is that you will always have options available. But if you own the expansion Worlds of New York and later on with Brooklyn, you will be able to use those as alternatives. So the idea is to make you explore and use the whole content that is available to you. One thing that you will notice on this, which is actually random, so good, it was not intended, but it is. You'll see on this one, the middle one, the reward here is a modifier. So as I said, the active modifiers you will unlock by doing the season journey. But then we have something that we call the passive modifiers. And again, I will explain what that is. Those you unlock through priority objectives. So you will need to do both to unlock all of the modifiers that are available to you. So when you see one of those here that is highlighted, you know that if I complete these priority objectives, I will be rewarded with a modifier. So you can go ahead and pick it up, basically. And once you've picked it up, we reveal what the objective is. And now you know what reward you're actually going to get. You know which modifier you're going to get. There's no duplicate. So, of course, if you already have a modifier, we're not going to give you the same modifier again. So there is a predictable amount of priority objectives you need to do until you unlocked all of them. So then you can just basically go ahead and complete that mission. And you will get, on top of all the normal rewards of that mission, you will also get that modifier. You can, of course, combine. So if that mission would actually also be a target in a priority objective, you can optimize and potentially, or a target in a seasonal journey, you can actually optimize and combine assignments together to progress even faster.
And once the priority objective is selected, you cannot actually re-roll it or go back and choose another one. So you will have to complete this one to be given a chance to select a new one afterwards.
Yeah. So you need to think about your decision. The good thing is when the three you have, before you make a decision, if you don't like any of the three, you have the opportunity to re-roll, and this is shown here underneath. So you can have up to 3 rerolls, and you gain rerolls by completing priority objectives. So you need to complete a few of them, and then you gain opportunities to do a reroll if you don't like any of the options. So there is a chance for you to change in case all 3 of them are not interesting to you.
Yeah, and rerolls would also give an opportunity to choose a different reward. And since you already mentioned that modifiers are quite rare compared to other rewards that you can get, there is actually not a big chance that you might end up with a modifier. But then again, you will be able to choose between XP, seasonal XP, credits, crafting materials. There are actually 9 types of them, and exotics.
Yep. So then, modifiers. Should we look at that?
Yes.
Because that's actually one big part. So we wanted to talk about progression, but one big key aspect of those...
Or if we can get back to the journey super quickly, the one thing I wanted to mention is that you already showed, and you can see it on the screen, that there are 7 journey missions, and they going to be unlocked depending on your level within the game. So of course the first one will be available to everyone starting from level 1, the second one from level 10, the third one from level 30, and then starting from the fourth one and onward, it's only going to be available for players with level 40. And same for the modifiers. They only available for level 40 players.
I'm having an eye on chat in the same time, so is it okay if I just pick some questions when I see them?
Absolutely.
I see Hanaku, is that how you said the name? I don't know. Asking, the journey seems really short. It doesn't seem to last the entire season. If it lasts 3-4 months, and it seems that player can one-shot rush through them all under 1 week. If that's the case, do you get new journeys or extended stuff, or that is all? No, so the idea is the journey is, I mean, it's still going to take some time to complete, but this is supposed to be the initial steps. So you're going to be, because that's how you unlock the modifiers, and we want you to get the active modifiers, you know, not all the way towards the end of the season. We want you to be able to control how fast you get them. So you're going to, if you are a very active player and one that progresses fast, you should be able to complete the journey fairly fast. You know, we will see how long, and that's all going to be subject to balancing and PTS feedback. So please do tell us. And once you've completed that, then that's usually, you know, where the priority objectives become even more relevant. As I said, you can do priority objectives alongside your journey, but even when you completed your journey, the priority objectives and all the other, you know, activities in the game remain available. So then you can always use that to keep progressing if you haven't maxed out your season pass at this point and unlocked all the rewards. But yes, it is intended that the season journey does not take the whole, you know, 3 or 4 months of a season to complete.
And there was also another question regarding seasonal characters in Seasons 2.0. An initial question like, what about Seasons 2.0? Actually, the features that we're showing today, almost all of them were initial part of Seasons 2.0. So except for seasonal characters that, you know, we decided to remove them because of the feedback that we received on the announcement. Everything else that you're going to see here is what Seasons 2.0 were supposed to be. It's just we are not necessarily calling it that way anymore, but it's still pretty much what was in the initial package.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the original proposition was still meant to work at level 40. So there are some adjustments following the change of removing seasonal characters, but overall, this is still close to the vision we had in mind. And you can experience it from level 1. It's just now it's your choice if you want to. Okay, cool. So modifiers, and I see some questions in chat in terms of modifiers. So modifiers, you're actually going to find them in your inventory. And you will see that we put that here. So you see now you actually have access to your Isaac brick, and that's going to be where the modifiers sit now moving forward. So when you go in there, you're going to see a whole new screen, which is the season modifier. And so the season modifier is made of 4 things. One, there is the global modifier. And that global modifier is the one you see here. And that global modifier applies throughout the entire content. So when the season is active, the global modifier applies. You can deactivate it if you want. If you really don't like it, or for specific cases, if you want to deactivate it, you can. But as soon as it's activated, this one applies all the time. And this is a straight out bonus for you as a player. So this season, the global modifier is called Point Blank. And this is one that is working with range. So what we're doing is we're dividing range into 3 zones: blue zone, yellow zone, and red zone. And the further away the enemies are, so the longest or the further zone they are, the higher the damage bonus. So you'll see in short range, in blue zone, you will have 1.2 times, that's an interesting wording, 1.2 times damage. Medium range, so 20%, 35%, 50% damage bonus, depending on which zone there is. So it's a pretty simple, straightforward bonus, but then of course it becomes more intricate because we have more modifiers. As I said, so this is the one that applies all the time. Then we have the second type of modifier, which is the active modifier, and this is where we start giving you choice. So these active modifiers are the ones you're going to unlock through the season journey. And these ones are basically an ultimate ability that you can select, so you have to pick one of those 3. And when you trigger that ultimate ability, it will change the way the global modifier behaves. So for example, I'm trying to think which one. This one is the most obvious one, called Reversal. When you trigger this one, you swap the bonus ranges. So suddenly, the closer the enemies are, the more damage you do to them. So then it's up to you to actually create builds around that and to see how to make the best use out of that. So you have 3 of them that behave in different ways. So you can also swap them depending on the situation or what type of content you're going to be doing. The idea is that as you progress through the season and when you've done the whole seasonal journey and enough priority objectives, you will have unlocked all the modifiers. So you get access to the entire kind of toolbox with all the options available. So then you can mix and match them depending with your build depending on the situations and what you want to do with it. And just to be clear, this whole thing, this whole package of seasonal modifier, this will change with every season. So what you see here, this is what will apply in the next season, in season 2. The season after that, this is going to be a whole different proposition. So this is how we're going to try to bring, fresh experiences with every season, with different types of bonuses and even sometimes maybe things that are not just stat-based, but different type of modifiers and different type of experiences. The third type of modifier is the passive modifier. So that's down there. And those are basically modifiers that change what happens in a range when you have them equipped. Those are not on trigger. They're usually always active. Some of them have trigger conditions, but it's not a button I'm going to press. It's just a bit like a talent. If I do a headshot, this thing happens or whatever. And they're divided in short range, medium range, long range, and some of them are multi-zone. So short range means those modifiers only apply to enemies that are in short range. Those only apply to enemies in medium range and long range. And multi-zones are the ones that apply on all range or that have multi-zone conditions. So I'm not going to go through all of them because it's quite intricate and you know how we are. Sometimes some of those descriptions can be a bit long, so it's going to be up to you to actually figure it out. But once again, you can pick 3 of them, up to 3 of them. So then it's about you combining things with the global modifier, the active modifier you want to use, then the passive modifiers, and the active modifier, when you trigger it, might interact with the passive as well. For example, we have one active modifier that is this one, the active modifier prime time. When you trigger it, all the passive modifiers that are called minor modifier here, but they're going to be called passive modifier eventually, become effective in the medium range. So what that means is that even if you pick some short range or long range ones here, when you trigger your active modifier, they will apply in the medium range. So once again, it's really up to you to theory craft all of this and try to figure out what works best for your playstyle. And then the final type of modifier, that's the one that allows the world to react to you, because all we are doing here is giving you power. We are just making you stronger with all of those modifiers, because pretty much some of them have a bit of a risk reward or a bit of a price to pay. For example, there's one, I don't remember which one it is. Trying to find. Yeah, this one, for example, headshot damage is increased by 150%, but body shots did greatly reduce damage at long range. So this one, for example, you see there is a penalty for using it, but therefore a reward as well. But otherwise, usually they're all pretty much bonuses. So the way we actually make sure that the game still remains challenging and interesting is that we have the final type, which is the one here, which is called the hostile modifiers. And those you do not choose. Those are unlocked from the beginning, and they will unlock as you progress through the season. But these are modifiers that are going to be applied to the NPCs. So these are new abilities that the NPCs will unlock as you progress through the season, and they will basically present a new challenge. So they are also based on range, but this gives NPCs extra abilities or extra bonuses depending on their archetype and on the range that they're in. So this is our way of adding extra challenges that are based on the way the modifier functions to not just make it easier for you, but actually present new types of challenges. And so when you're going to be, replaying missions that you've played a million times, saying the same fire teams spawning as usual, those modifiers are going to be a way to rethink the way you're going to be picking up that fight, because the way you used to beat them might not work anymore based on those modifiers.
Would you say that it's akin to enemies having talents equipped?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Because each modifier is a bit like a talent, so yeah, it is a bit like that. And for some reason, the description does not show here. It's not that we want to hide it. I'm not sure why it doesn't show, but
it's the PTS build.
It's the PTS build. But hopefully tomorrow you will be able to see them. Otherwise, I'm sure we will have a description available.
Yeah, and also you will be able to see in the open world the enemies that have the active modifier applied to them because they're gonna have an icon on top of the enemy, and not all the enemies that you're gonna meet in the open world will have modifiers. Some of them, yes, but not all of them.
One thing, because I see that being discussed in chat, no, the modifiers will not apply in PvP, just to be clear. Because obviously if this would break things to a degree that is not what we want to do.
Not in PvP and not in Descent.
And not in Descent, yes. I also saw someone here, just to confirm, asking, I didn't catch your name, sorry, asking if to confirm that this is available on your main character. Yes, there are, as we've said, there are no seasonal characters anymore. So the day this becomes available, you log in with your main character, all of this is available to your main character. You don't have to level a new one.
And also another thing that I would mention, that some of the modifiers, they are mutually exclusive with global events. So you will have to choose if you want to play with the global event settings or if you want to play with the modifiers. You cannot have both at the same time.
Yes. Yeah, because combining them would break the game in ways that we are not comfortable with. So for now, when a global event will be active, you will need to choose if you want to play with the global event or play with your seasonal modifier. What was the next thing?
We need to talk about scouts as well.
Oh, yeah, Manhunt. Okay. So the last element in here that we want to talk about, it's the Manhunts. And we have also changed and streamlined a bit the way the Manhunts worked. So you're still going to go in the same place, but the Manhunt screen has changed. So where we used to have 4 targets unlocking a prime target, and each target was unlocked every month with a set of activities, now we've changed that to an actual weekly cadence. So instead of 4 targets and 1 prime target, we no longer have 4 targets. Now you're going to have what we call scouts. And scouts is a series of assignments that you're going to have to do. We have 14 of them, so that's basically going to take you throughout a big part of the season. So each scout is going to unlock every week. So those will unlock on a weekly cadence. If you haven't done the one from last week, don't worry. If you log in, you will be able to do it as well. You will actually have to do it before you unlock the one of this week. But you can catch up all the way to the end of the season. And those scouts are, as I said, weekly activities. They have a series of assignments, but are assignments that you actually need to decipher. So we are not going to tell you directly, go do that thing. We're going to give you, at least in this season, we're going to give you a small riddle, and you need to solve that riddle to understand what needs to be done. So for example, here in this scout, we tell you that you have to go to Foggy Bottom, which is the name zone Foggy Bottom, and then something about taxis. So you need to figure out what activity is there in Foggy Bottom that is related to taxis. Once you do that, you unlock that activity, you get the next one, or you completed that activity, you get the next one, and then the next one. And once you've completed those 3 activities, you unlock the rewards of that scout. And of course, one of the main rewards of that scout, there's going to be some XP and small things, but the main reward of that scout is going to be the voiceover collectible of the week. And then you unlock the ability to do the next scout if it is already unlocked by the season schedule. As we said, they unlock every week.
Yeah, and scouts are all available on level 40, and you can play together with your friends if you want to complete the scouts, but it's important to mention that only the group leader will get the main rewards for the scout.
Yeah. And then, of course, as you do all 14 scouts, then at the end of the season, we're going to unlock the climax mission, as usual. So we're going to take over a space and turn it into a climax. But then the change this with the new seasons is that, and this is not going to be in PTS, by the way. And scouts, we're going to have a few, I think, in the PTS.
Yes.
So we're going to have the first few scouts of next season. That's the first time we do that in PTS. So a few story spoilers, but hopefully nothing too drastic. We're not going to let you play all the scouts of the season in PTS. So you're not going to get the whole story spoiled. But the beginning of the story, yes. So if you don't want any spoilers before the season starts, either do not go on a PTS or go on a PTS but don't play the scouts, because the story will be at least partially available, not even in necessarily a comprehensive way, because you see here we still have Aaron Kinner as a target, which is not our Season 2 target. So what we have on the PTS is a bit of mix and match of different things. But as I said, once you've completed the scouts, you unlock the climax mission. Important to note, yes, you will need to do all 14 scouts to unlock the climax mission. So if you show up late when the climax mission unlocks, you will have to catch up and unlock the scouts the same way that it was today with the targets. And then you can unlock the master climax. And the idea with the master climax is that this is a new difficulty that is going to be available only on the climax mission. And this difficulty is here to challenge you and to show or to kind of test if you have mastered the season and mastered the modifiers. So it's going to be tougher NPCs in general, and also tougher mechanics, and challenges based or hopefully utilizing the modifier as well. So it's really going to be about using everything that we've given you this season to be able to beat it. When we talk about difficulty, I don't necessarily want to compare it to any other type of content, because we will still need to balance that properly. But it is harder than heroic for sure. This is really meant to be a real tough challenge for everyone.
But you mentioned that it's not going to be a part of the PTS.
That's not going to be on PTS,
Yes.
no.
And do you want to show the gameplay? Because otherwise it's pretty much it.
Probably for the modifier anyway.
Answer a few questions as well.
I was thinking maybe I can try to do that priority objective that I unlocked here, because then we can unlock a modifier maybe. So that one was the Lincoln Memorial main mission, which I'm going to track on screen, and I'm going to have to find that one. I know it's going to be embarrassing because, I got it. I was like, where's Lincoln Memorial? I'm going to embarrass myself in front of everyone not finding it on the map. Because after all, I'm only shade level 512, which is noob level for a lot of people in this chat. I'm going to play in challenging, pardon me, but I don't want to. So you will see, and this is the modifiers in action, or the global modifier in action. You will see when I aim at an NPC, next to my crosshair, you will now see the 3 ranges. So you see this character of this NPC is in the blue range right now. So I'm gonna get the blue range bonus, damage bonus. You see the NPCs there have hostile modifiers. This is the icon that shows there. So this is to tell me what kind of extra abilities do they have. And so you can see directly from your crosshair. You can see what range they are in. And who's behind me? You see this one has the hostile modifier, I forgot the name, but it's basically making them, they get reduced damage if you're shooting them from the wrong range. So you need to get to the right range, and then you will be able to deal increased damage to them. The implementation of the hostile modifiers icons is not final, so bear with us on that. Hopefully it's still good enough for you to be able to give us some feedback.
I will just answer a few questions in the chat. So are global modifiers replacing global events, or are they still going to have them? As I mentioned, we're still going to have both, but you will need to choose which one you want to play with. So it's either going to be a modifier or a global event. How new modifiers going to affect XP gains with the system?
They don't.
It's just basically an extra.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like directives or something where the modifiers will influence the XP or the rewards or anything. They're just, I mean, the hostile modifiers are just basically applied to the content, and this is a compensation for the extra power we're giving you with the global modifier.
How many modifiers we gonna have per season? So season modifiers are gonna be unique to season. You're gonna have the one main one, and also 3 active modifiers. I'm not entirely sure if the enemy modifiers, so passive modifiers, are gonna be seasonal
Yeah,
exclusive.
they will change every season. So in this season you have 12 passive modifiers and 4 enemy modifiers, and 3 active modifiers. This value will likely change from season to season, depending on how the modifiers behave.
Are the modifiers active in open world missions only, or also in game modes like Descent? So they will be active pretty much everywhere except for PvP and Descent. Do you remember any other?
Sorry, you're gonna have to repeat that.
The modifiers,
Yeah.
where they're supposed to be active. Everywhere apart from PvP and
Everywhere
Descent.
except PvP and Descent, yeah.
An open world includes Washington, New York, so
Yep.
all other maps. Can we turn off modifiers?
Yes.
Yes?
If you really don't like them, or if for some reason they're actually not to your advantage, you can turn them off.
Do we need to complete all objectives to complete the journey, or can we skip a few if we don't like them? So basically, every journey that contains 8 objectives, you can complete only 6 of them and still collect the big reward for the mission journey. And there are 2 extra ones. I mean, if you want to complete them, you can definitely do that to get the rewards that are specific to the smaller objective. But otherwise, you are given a choice, which 6 of 8 you want to be completing at the moment.
That's not gonna work from here. Yeah, I made it.
I feel like this SpongeBob meme that looks at 2 different books at the same time, because I kind of want to follow the gameplay, but at the same time look at the chat and
to you at
answer
the
the
same time.
questions.
I'm like, oh my god, what am I doing?
Immediate medical assistance needed.
Do we need to? Yes, this is the one that I already answered. So the thing is, you cannot really skip them on the grand scale of things. You still need to complete each journey to be able to move to the next one. And this is the same thing with the scouts. Like, they need to be unlocked one by one, and you cannot move to the next scout or to the next mission journey unless the one that you're on is completed. And another thing is that even if you start playing mid-season, like not from the get-go, you still will be able to go through all the previous scouts that were available upon the release.
I see somebody picking up on the 60 round Sentinel, and yes, that's a good point, and that's a big. One big thing with this season, we've basically rebalanced every single item in the game. So we are not gonna go through that here. This will be in the patch notes, because basically almost every item in the game has been rebalanced. Some of them, of course, buffed, a few nerfs here and there for the outliers. So this is what you will see here with the Sentinel. That's one of the ones that's been impacted with a reduction of max size to 60.
And to echo that, all the rebalance values are going to be in the patch notes for weapons, for gear, for talents, with the comparison to the current values that we have in the game right now. So feel free to do the comparison, let us know what you think about it, and patch notes going to be dropping tonight after the live stream. I think maybe within an hour or two once we're done with streaming, and preload should be available tonight as well.
And as usual, because I already see people asking for no nerfs, this is a PTS. The patch notes are a proposition, so before screaming about the unfairness of nerfs, please read the patch notes. Please, if you can, test it in a PTS and then give us feedback. Everything can always change, but we need the feedback for that. So we need your help to try things out. And if you think that some of the changes are too drastic or are really ruining items, just let us know and we'll look at it.
Because another thing is that that's the first PTS phase. There is going to be another one. So I'm not entirely sure if we would be able to change things drastically in between the two phases, but still getting that feedback is crucial for how it's going to be upon release.
But balancing is always okay. You can always do balancing changes.
Just gonna look for other questions. Will the climax mission be available during PTS? No. Mostly because you won't have enough time to complete all the scouts, and it's one of the things that will give too many spoilers.
Yeah, we don't wanna spoil the whole thing.
How seasonal story missions will tie to the main story?
What do you mean? The scouts?
I mean, that's the question.
Yeah,
But I guess it should not be very different from our regular manhunts, in the same way that the story has been released for manhunts, since we'll just continue doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, and it is a continuation of the story that we've told in season 1, and it's gonna be the same story and delivered in similar ways. It's just that instead of having monthly targets and then you get like 4 or 5 collectibles in that target, you will get 1 collectible every week by doing the scouts. So it's just a pacing change more than an actual drastic change in terms of story.
Is there no longer a seasonal track? No, seasonal track remains. And I think I saw another question about paid and free tracks. That's going to remain.
It's actually there's a bit of a change here, just to be fully transparent. Is that now there is 1 track, and some items on this track are free, and some of them require the premium pass or the season pass. But we've redistributed all the rewards, so even if when you look at because I know people will compare the free track compared to previous seasons, so there's going to be less free items when you look at that track, but therefore we have new systems in the season that give you rewards as well. So just think of it holistically, okay? When you're looking at comparing rewards, think of all the season journey, the priority objectives, the scouts, all those new systems that are here that are giving you rewards on top of the season track.
Will modifiers be active in raids and incursion? From what I know, yes.
As far as I remember, yes, they should.
Yeah. There was a talk the seasonal characters was going to have a 5th character. Are we still going to get the 5th character?
No, we are not. We are not doing that. That being said, we are looking at what we can do with that extra save space that we had for this. So maybe in the future there might be changes in that direction, but not now.
I also saw a question, I cannot really read it right now because the chat is going so fast, but basically... Sorry, kind of lost it completely. So, people asking if it's gonna be possible to purchase the old seasons.
This was the hostile modifier killing me. Just a side note here. This hostile modifier, I forgot the name, is one that reflects the damage I'm dealing to the NPC if I'm shooting them from the wrong range. And of course, time for me to compute. I realized too late and I killed myself. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. I'm just thinking whether or not it's okay for us to hint at the throwback event that is coming. Because people are interested if it's possible to replay the
You're doing it right
seasons.
now, so I think
Yeah,
there's no going back.
I already started doing that because like who's gonna tell me that it's not possible again? Because
Who's gonna stop you?
He is my boss anyway, so yeah. So it's not gonna be possible to purchase older seasons, but there is going to be a chance to play through all of them in the chronological order that they were released very soon in the event that we are calling a throwback event. Basically, first of all, giving new players or veteran players an opportunity to relive the Manhunt experience again, or understand the story or get to know the story. And the
Gosh, I really have
idea behind it, I'm once again like trying to concentrate on at least one thing.
Is it bothering you that I'm talking?
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's just I'm so invested. So basically what I'm trying to say, the throwback event, a chance to replay all the previous Manhunts in a chronological order. You will only have
You're doing great Daya, by the way.
2 days to play each
going.
Manhunt, and they also going to be tied to global events, allowing you to earn stars that you will be able to exchange to seasonal caches with the gear exclusive to these previous seasons and Manhunts. So I think it's pretty exciting. We'll be releasing more information soon because I'm not entirely sure I'm coherent enough to explain everything that I want to explain right now. But I think that event is going to be an amazing opportunity to also relieve the nostalgia and gear up before Seasons 2.0, because a lot of the features that we showed today are only available starting from level 40. So if you're new to the game, if you started recently, that's perfect opportunity for you to gear up and get ready for next season.
Did you balance the exotics buff nerfs? Yes, the exotics are part of the general balancing pass as well. So most of them receive changes. And as usual, you know, the way we've tried to approach this balancing pass is we've looked at the overall performance and power value of each item. We looked at the best ones, the worst ones, and we tried to find an in-between that is generous, so an in-between that is not in the middle, that is more towards the up part, and buff everything that was underneath that to that level. If things are above that, some of them we try to bring down, not necessarily all the way to that level, just a bit down to bring them closer to that level. So the buffs are going to be more significant than the nerfs, but there are a few outliers in here that we've tried to tone down ever so slightly to try to bring them closer to the rest in order to, you know, try to make other options a bit more viable. And again, don't forget, even if we are with those nerfs in a way taking away some power, we're giving you a lot of power with the modifiers as well. So that's something to take into account. So now I should have actually unlocked a passive modifier, so we can at least look at it.
Yeah, we're not showing the new exotics and weapons for this season in this specific live stream just because there is not enough time and we wanted to focus on new seasonal journey features, but this information will be available through the patch notes and tomorrow on PTS. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No worries. So now you see I unlock drawback, for example, which is my first passive modifier. And so this one, as you can read, my weapon handling is increased by 50% of headshot damage while there are enemies within short range. And the idea here is that sometimes instead of just giving you a buff, we want to give you buffs that are based on other stats you have. Which is a way to also try to create combinations or revalor some stats that sometimes maybe people will be might be using less. So yeah, but this one is also a straight out buff, so you can go ahead and just apply it. There you go. And so now that one is going to be active all the time. So as long as I have an NPC in short range, in the red or in the blue zone, I will have that buff active.
Another question about modifiers, how they going to affect the group play?
The player modifiers are player-based, so you will each have your own, and each have your own active ultimate ability and whatever based to your build. Then the enemy modifiers or the hostile modifiers, apply to the fire teams you're fighting. So yeah, I don't know.
Why I'm not addressing any PvP-related questions? The chat is going so fast, but I can see if there is going to be any DZ or PvP updates. And
this is not a PvP update, right? All the balancing changes to all items will affect PvP. So expect, balancing changes in PvP as well. But our focus for this update is seasons. So we haven't necessarily looked at PvP itself.
Oh, that's the question that I love about the ducks. People want the clues for the Keener ducks and what they meant in the Keener mission. It's actually interesting. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's one of the few things that I learned myself quite recently by talking to Lauren. And I would just say, keep shooting those ducks, and there is going to be a nice revelation if you will get all of them.
So it would be interesting to put the possibility to have triple XP forever by paying a monthly fee for people like me. Well, we're not ready to put a price point on XP bonuses. But that being said, we had some really positive reaction and positive results to triple XP. And as you know, there is another event that's coming. That's actually going to be a 5 times XP. If you like those, we'll do more of those. But not forever, though. We still want to keep them a bit rare. That's the whole point of an event. But yes, we will do more of those moving forward.
Our favorite question about cross progression.
No plans at this point.
More stash space. As Yannick already mentioned that we are looking into it, but there is no guarantee that will happen. Tomorrow. Yeah.
We may have a bit of room to maneuver here, but is the best to add a character slot? Is the best to add stash space? Is it to add inventory space? We have to see what we're going to do with it and how we utilize that. But we're hoping that we're going to be able to give you a bit more room to store stuff.
How long the 5 XP boost gonna last? From what I remember, it's a weekend long, from 27th to 30th. So
yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Probably. The dates I don't know, but it's a weekend.
Basically 3 days till the weekend.
Yeah, it's a weekend, and it's remember it's capped to 1,000 levels. This one, and it's gonna be running alongside Golden Bullet. So it's gonna be a fun weekend.
Any DLC news? Today is not the time.
Today is not the day for this. We're working on it. Will there be any hardcore rewards, exclusive patches, apparel, skins? Not immediately, but I think, yes, we will want to have a bit of a look at hardcore with this new seasonal format. This hasn't been our focus here, but I think, there's probably some stuff we can do with hardcore characters in seasons as well. So that's a good reminder. Thank you.
I also remember seeing a question about skills being reworked, but from what I remember, they are not a part of the balancing pass.
No, we focused on items. Will cheaters actually be banned? Cheaters are banned all the time. I know it doesn't look like it, and I'm sure every time I say that there are people that are going to come with examples of people they've seen that haven't been banned, but I can tell you we have people that are banning cheaters on a very regular basis. And if you, as usual, if you spot any, just do let us know. And even if you don't see that person going away, that doesn't mean that we are not taking actions.
Yeah, but keep reporting these people anyway, and it's best if you report them through Ubisoft support services, because whenever you tag us on social media, like, it's nothing that me or Yannick can do about it, because we have proper sanction metrics, and whenever support receives complaints about cheaters, they actually apply sanctions based on this metrics that is universal for the entire company. So yeah, we take notice, we know that that's a problem, but unfortunately we cannot just pick and choose a person, because then it would not be fair to anyone.
I've seen some people, sorry if we're looking away, we're looking at chat, so this is our way of talking to you, is actually looking at a screen here instead of looking there.
Can I move?
But I've seen some people asking about the specializations revamp. So yes, we had announced a long time ago now that we were going to revamp specializations. We didn't do that revamp because ultimately the first prototype we had of that change did not feel good enough. It just didn't click the way we thought it would. Sometimes that happens. We have great ideas on paper and we put them in the game and it's like, so we decided to put it on ice because we had to prioritize other things. I think we're still there. There are other priorities that we want to focus on first. It's still on the back of our minds, so one day, I'm very hopeful one day we will be able to revisit specializations, but it's not in the short future. There was another question I wanted to take, but I lost it.
There was a question, a weird one, not a weird one, but it's something that we already answered a couple of times before, about the one-strap backpack and why it's not possible for us to have it in the Division 2. I mean, we're no art product experts. Pali is not here, but from what I know, it's just the way the models work, the agent models work in Division 2 are very different from Division 1, and that's why it's not possible for us to have a one-strap.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's just a big deal. It's a much bigger deal than you could think it is. It would have to do with the way the characters are built, the way they are skinned, and it's just. It would be a huge change, not something we are able to take. So unfortunately, as much as we all miss them, as much as you do, we cannot really bring them back, not in a realistic way. Add more hairstyles, that'd be cool. Would be cool to have more. Keener has a one-strap backpack here, but Keener is not a player. The character does, but actually when you have the Keener outfit, you still have your backpack on it. Don't nerf my Lady Death, please. I don't have the list of changes in mind, so I honestly don't remember what happened to every single item. So I cannot tell you right now from top of my mind what's the deal with Lady Death.
One more hour and you will be able to see that.
You'll find out in the patch notes once you've scrolled through the whole, what was it, 29 pages, what I've seen of it.
30.
30 now.
Yeah. The question about rates, if there are going to be any rates.
That's not the plan right now.
You know what we need to do? Whenever you watch Japanese streams, they have like text running on the background, and for the most popular questions, we should actually do that.
We used to do that. This is me putting old man Yannick hat for the people that have been in here for the last 10 years. We used to have that on State of the Game at some point because we used to have so many of those questions. So we had the ticker that was basically just answering the most common questions. Guess what? It changed nothing.
Okay, because I was like, should I maybe print a T-shirt with all the answers and like, here are all the answers?
More hunter cosmetics. But if everybody is a hunter, then hunters are not fun anymore. What about leagues? So actually, one thing that's good to know, thank you for the question, leagues are not going to be part of the new seasons. Global events will still apply. We will not have leagues anymore. And the main reason is that leagues just cannot really coexist with all of this. because it's a mess. And as you've said, with the modifiers, they would be way too easy. And in any way, the way we've rebuilt behind the scenes, the way we've rebuilt all of that, leagues are not going to be. We cannot just take them and make them work. That being said, the idea of these kind of challenges and time challenges is something that's still cool. So we're already thinking about how we could bring back something similar to what leagues were. But don't be surprised when this comes out. There will not be leagues.
There was a question about descent changes, but from my knowledge, there won't be any changes with this upcoming.
For Descent?
Yeah.
No, except just the changes to balancing of the talents and all that is going to potentially affect Descent as well. But otherwise, no specific focus change on Descent. We've lost chat. So
monitors went dark.
We've lost screens.
George.
Is it just me? It's just the computer going to sleep. I didn't realize this screen is the same as that one.
But to be honest, we're kind of coming close to the end of the stream, unless you have more time, so you can sit here forever.
Any plans on transmog for exotics? Next question. Gosh, this chat is going too fast. I'm too old for this.
I mean, I saw someone saying that my lipstick is smudged. I'm like,
I see a bunch of questions on like rework this, rework that. I see rework of Summit, rework of Kennedy College, and all those things. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of things we can do with this game. That's what's great about it. We can keep going for as many years as we want. There's a lot that we could rework and that we could add, and hopefully we'll eventually get to all of those things. But we have to prioritize, and so right now these are not our priorities. It doesn't mean they won't become a priority at some point.
where is Kelso?
Where is she
chilling.
indeed?
She's chilling,
She's driving a van somewhere.
having a good time with the boys.
You're sad about rebalance. You haven't seen what we've done. Like, look at it first.
Patch notes are not even out for another hour.
You haven't seen it. Look at it first. Read the whole thing. Don't focus on that one item that is, the joy of your life. Look at everything else and then see if you think that overall it's going to make the game more enjoyable or not. And then do give us feedback. And if you still don't like it, then we will take that feedback. Don't just assume and go for doomsday scenarios.
Yeah, and if you have any feedback coming our way, there are going to be phase 2, and if we see the changes that are applicable, we will react and talk back to you about our future plans. Absolutely.
Yeah. I see something. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about that, but I'll take it anyway. Chinese version has items we don't have. Are they going to be added? I mean, for those of you that pay attention, yes, there is a version in China of the Division 2 that is different from our version. We do work together with those people, so some of the stuff they do we can bring in our game, but that's a case-by-case basis, and we decide. Even if some of the stuff you see seems cool, there are some things we don't necessarily want to bring to our version of the Division. So it's up to us to see and what can actually be transferred from what they do, because obviously these are two very different cousins, those two games.
And as Pauline is saying, telling me behind the screen, so to comment on the recent PvP glitch, it will be fixed with 21.5. That is, I do not remember the exact date when it's coming, but it's coming quite soon, in 1 or 2 weeks' time. And the reason why I saw people complaining that it's not on Trello, that's why devs don't know about it. The only reason why it was not on Trello is not to give people ideas. And of course we were aware, and all the time we were working on resolution, so fix is coming.
Kevin the Gromit, how do updates of the game work with 2 different versions running? Oh, my poor person. We're working on 5 different versions of this game at a time, because we're working on many updates at the same time. So this is not an issue. We're used to working on several versions, but again, the Chinese version is very separate from ours. So it's a bit of a different thing compared to when we work on several updates at once. This is still the same game, but this is a different one.
And also, I saw a question, people asking if we can do that on a more or less regular basis, this format, and it's actually yeah. That's actually what we were thinking about, and that's why we're trying this new format.
Yep.
Thank you to our helpers, Dory and George, for setting this nice studio up.
You're welcome.
I don't know if you were able to hear that, but,
Turn on your
but they're
microphone.
here laughing at us. So yeah, we'll definitely try to answer those questions on more or less regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I'm seeing right now, the questions just repeat themselves. And to conclude that, first of all, thank you so much for showing us the build.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
Yeah.
A lot of people were impressed by your immaculate gameplay.
Can I just take that one question before you
please
go into conclusion? Because I want to clarify my statement because I don't want to create speculations. 5 version, what region besides USA? No. When I say 5 versions, I don't mean different versions of the game that are being run in different areas. I just mean that we work on parallel updates at the same time. So, the update that we're going to be delivering you or giving you with Season 2 is an update we've been working on in a while. We're already working on the one after that and the one after that. So that's what I mean when I say 5 versions. I mean, we are always working in parallel on many things that are coming in the future of this game. These are not different versions of the games that are secret projects we haven't said or anything like that.
Anything else? You fancy? Any other questions? No?
Oh, sassy, okay.
So, yeah, patch notes coming in an hour. Preload also starts today. I'm sorry, I unfortunately do not remember when exactly, but it's today, I promise you that. And tomorrow you will be able to play live, as usual, play throughout the weekend. We'll close in on Monday, and just let us know what you think about all the updates on Discord, on social media. That's pretty much it.
Yep.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you for being here, and let us know what you think on PTS and on this stream as well if you've seen anything. Just feedback.
See you.
Thank you.
All right, give me a second. Let me just adjust my audio here. We'll get talking about this stuff because crazy. Wow, oh wow. So good news is that we are getting the season 2. But they didn't give us a launch date, which was really frustrating. There's a lot of frustrating things because there's some like broad strokes. This is me just talking. But there's some broad strokes that just they didn't hit. Like, when is this coming? That's like a basic that we should start with that, right? Like October 4th or whatever, you know? So that would be nice to know that. But I don't have any answers for you. But we are going to get the PTS patch notes. But that doesn't typically announce the season launch date. So maybe there's going to be a part 2 where we'll have a season reveal and a trailer and all of that. They usually show a trailer for this during these reveals. Now, this kind of isn't a official reveal, right? It's sort of like it's a soft launch to really address our concerns about seasonal characters and to update us on where they're at. But break it into PTS because there's a lot of things, and so they're prepping us, all right? And I got some real thoughts here on what I saw, but let me just recap things. So I made a lot of notes here as we were going, and I know some of you probably joined in partially through, but I'm going to go through the recap as quickly as possible. Though I'm not going to hone in on it too much because I want to talk. I really want to react to it. And then I'll make a video and cover it as thoroughly as possible. But, okay, so what we know, a PTS preload is now-ish in the next hour or sometime soon here. But today, and then you can jump in if you're on PC tomorrow. And it'll last for 3 days. It looks like there will be more than one round. And much of Seasons 2.0 will be in there, but not everything. But everything covered in this stream was what was originally outlined in Seasons 2.0 when presented back then, except for seasonal characters. So that was officially omitted as the community pleaded. So one of the first things that they broke into was the seasonal journey. So this is a new way to experience the season, but there's still going to be the rewards track. But the rewards track isn't going to be the same as we experience it now, where everything is on one line and you could just blast through it. So they broke it up so that some of it's on the rewards track from what it sounds like, and the rest is rewarded through the seasonal journey completion. So as you unlock the seasonal journey by completing one mission, that sort of a domino effect, and unlocks the next one, then you'll be able to earn those special rewards, whatever they are. I don't know. But we're going to have a new season screen. So it's not going to look like this anymore. It's going to look different. There will be a calendar of events tab, but then there will also be the journey tab. So I don't want to kind of boil it down to this, but it's basically like a projects tab, right? This is basically what this season is. And, it's not something I would be upset about because it's the nature of the beast. So that's what these looter shooter open world games are like in many cases, right? It's a big laundry list. You got missions, and within those missions, there's objectives. And so I saw I was glancing through some of the objectives, and some of them are like really basic, like use a pulse. I mean, it's that easy inside those missions. So from what it sounds like, the seasonal journey, it's a new way to progress in the season. You can have a series of missions, and each of those missions are going to have objectives. And so they progress in difficulty, and the rewards will be by mission and by objectives within. So you'll be rewarded by completing an objective, and then you'll get greater rewards by completing the missions. These won't be time gated, but you must unlock one to progress to the next. Like I said, you have 8 objectives, but you only need to complete 6. So they're gonna have a couple of extra in case there's some you really want to avoid. And then there's gonna be modifiers, and with the seasonal journey, you're gonna have 7 modifiers. Are gonna be available in the back half of the journey, which I believe is once you get to mission 4. And these are only going to be for players who have reached level 40. But they do want us to progress through this quickly, so it's not meant to stretch out through the end of the season. So they want us to use these modifiers throughout the season, if that makes sense. So it's not intended to take all season to complete the journeys. All right, priority objectives is the next new thing we're going to get in Seasons 2.0. So these are a pool of assignments with limited intel. If they're randomized, they also have rewards, but one of the big rewards are that you're unlocking these what do we call them? Modifiers. And so priority objectives gives you passive modifiers. It's the only way to get them. They're randomized as well, and it's something like re-rolling your possibilities, and you unlock the ability to re-roll. You can like almost like tokens. You can stack those re-roll possibilities. Kind of reminds me of Descent that way. Yeah, so it's kind of confusing on what priority objectives are. He took one on, and it was simply just go complete the what do you call it? It was the Lincoln Memorial, and then there was a passive modifier that was he had to face. So it wasn't like standard difficulty. It was a little bit more difficult. So yeah, that's what the priority objectives are. They're basically daily projects. Was this the one that he said? I think he said this one's going to be spread. Oh, no, this is different. Okay, so we're still on modifiers. There's something else that's on time. So modifiers. So what are modifiers? So these are basically, they're not like directives. So they're not going to drive or change XP or rewards. They're basically going to change the way you play. So you have active. Well, they're saying that active players could get these fairly fast. And there's going to be a new menu option sort of in the top right where you see that little chest plate and it says 122 over here. It's going to be there, and it's going to be the Isaac brick, and you can now interact with that. Right, there's a seasonal theme, and right now they're all going to be based on range. So you're going to get different buffs depending on where the enemy is, distance to you. And then you will be able to see range on your rifle. There's like a meter in the crosshairs, which is kind of cool. So 4 things. We got 4 types here of modifiers. You have global modifiers, which you can deactivate. This applies all the time, and it's pure bonus to the player. These are the ones that are going to change with every season. These will not work in PvP, and they're not going to work in Descent, but they will work everywhere else, including incursions and in raids. You cannot use these with global events. And then you have passive modifiers. These also change by range. That's the underlying theme. All are power to the player, not like directives, as I mentioned. And then the final one is hostile modifiers are mods for NPCs. We cannot choose these. These are also going to be based on range. And the idea is to give us more challenges. Each modifier is a bit like a talent, was one way to look at it. And finally, the last big piece is a new Manhunt system. And so instead of Manhunt targets, we're now going to have scouts. And so these are a series of assignments, and there's going to be 14 of these spread out through the season. They're going to unlock weekly, and they're going to take all season. But you can catch up on ones you missed. Assignments, you must decipher a riddle to learn what to do, which I thought was pretty cool because it's very The Division, very Tom Clancy there. Little mysteriousness. But you must be level 40 to participate in this. Cooperative is okay, but only group leader will get main rewards, which was interesting. And then there's the climax mission that's still going to be here, and there's going to be new master difficulty with this. So the idea here is they want to test our mastery of the modifiers. So there's going to be tougher NPCs and mechanics and challenges based on using those modifiers. It's going to be harder than heroic. They didn't say anything about legendary, but I'm assuming less difficult than legendary. But this will not be in the PTS, so we're not going to see this over the weekend. So that's a gist of the season. What I don't have to tell you about or talk about is anything related to gear. I have no idea because they didn't even mention it. They didn't talk about any new exotics or any new possible skills. So the big question marks there. I don't know why that was completely omitted, but probably because it's not part of Seasons 2.0, I guess. It's more season focused, so maybe we'll get another one of these streams as we approach the season. But excuse me. But you'd think we would have the opportunity to test that stuff in the PTS, and so it would be mentioned in the stream, but maybe it will show up in the PTS. I guess we'll see. So that's the gist. Now let's talk about some of the big things that are, I guess, to look out for. So this one snuck in there, and it's crazy. But they rebalanced every item in the game, and it was mentioned because somebody noticed that the St. Elmo only had 60 rounds. Good eye, whoever noticed that. But that's crazy. They rebalanced every item in the game, including exotics. But they did not rebalance skills, so they rebalanced items. So weapons, gear, talents. Including exotics, though. And then they made some PvP balance changes as usual. But that's crazy. That's crazy. They just did that. So I think they're doing it because, you know, they have to manage our power. They have to manage the NPC's power. And some of it comes to that is considering the new system, the new modifiers. So they're prepping for that. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But it always worries us. I mean, but it's good to shake up the meta. It's healthy for any game. You know, shake up the meta. But, also, you don't want it to make things useless, and that's not their goal. But they just have a reputation of nerfing things to the ground, so that's why I'm always a little worried when they do that. So, okay, so that's one of the things we need to look out for. And I don't know how much of this can be addressed in a 3-day PTS. I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of work, man. Unfortunately, I don't get to get into the PTS because I'm on Xbox, but man, that's a lot of feedback that has to go through and sorted. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I mean, not all of it has to be addressed immediately, but I don't know. I'm a little bit worried about that. Okay, so one of the other things that worried me is one of the things that worried me about this. So, well, let me just give you my overall impressions, first impressions. Yeah, I'm content with it. You know, I think with what we're getting here, I'm like not super stoked about it, but I'm also not disappointed. You know, I think it'll be nice. It'll be nice to have new systems to work with, new climax missions, new manhunts, a new way to experience seasons. I'm looking forward to it. And I hope especially the seasonal system and the manhunt and what are they calling them? The priority objectives. I hope those are interesting and fun and not punishing, because he was mentioning that, you know, the modifiers were getting him, right? He died a few times because of those. And the problem with the Division 2 is that we're already the underdog, and so I don't want to feel just more underdog-ish. I don't want to, you know, I say that about the global events, right? Like, it's just, you know, those that buff the NPCs a lot, I'm not a big fan of, like when the NPCs are immune, because they're already basically immune. I mean, they're bullet sponges. So it's just like, this should be a rewarding system altogether. And those priority objectives, I hope they're interesting, and I hope they're rewarding, and I hope they're fun, and I hope they're challenging. But yeah, I'm overall not overly impressed. And the reason why I'm not overly impressed, or really impressed at all, I should just say, I'm content. The reason why that's my feeling is because this whole system is been there, done that. I mean, we're experiencing it right now in the First Descendant, all the modifier stuff. I mean, that's trendy. You know, it's very trendy. I think doesn't Destiny have something like that too? Diablo also. Some of these other games have it. Shout them out if you've seen this system. But yeah, they just introduced it to the First Descendant, and to be honest with you, it wasn't well received. So, and for me, I to be honest with you, I don't like temporary build modifiers. I'm not a fan of that. You know, directives, same thing with directives, like directives that modify your build. I mean, you work really hard to create this build and to get it powerful and to get it strong. And then you put on something that weakens your build, that makes it weak, right? So you run a skill build and, you know, maybe an Eclipse build, and then you turn on skill cooldowns. I mean, it's like, what's the point? Why do I have this godly build just so I can nerf it to the point where it's not usable anymore? You know, so modifiers are that's one type of modifier, directives, right? And we do it for XP, and then we find builds that basically nullify or work around or bypass the negative effects of those modifiers, right? And so so these ones are mostly positive modifiers, except they're not, right? So so they say, you know, power to us, power to us, power to us, but then they give the NPCs hostile modifiers. And so basically, this is like a global event that never goes away. You either have it on or you can deactivate it, and you're gonna lose your power. You're gonna lose the whole Seasons 2.0. So you can basically deactivate 80% of Seasons 2.0. You can deactivate it if you don't like it. And yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, that would suck to turn off everything new in the game, right? But one of the things is you create these builds, and then we're gonna get this temporary buff based on range, and then next season we're gonna get something different. It's really difficult, or I have a hard time enjoying something that's just temporary, and then falling in love with weapons that work for that. I don't know. I'm still kind of processing here, so sorry if it's coming out jumbled. But like I said, if I could just boil it down to this, I'm never really super excited about temporary buffs on my characters in any game. You know, I like established and reliability, and I just these types of modifiers are temporary. So they just remind me of the directives, and I just, you know, I tolerate the directives for XP, not because I actually like them. You know, and so these are all positive or mostly buffs, but they're not. The NPCs, with our strength comes more pain in the ass NPCs. They get hostile modifiers, and we don't get to choose those. And so it's like always running with directives, always. And I don't know if I like that, you know? So we want to use the global modifiers, but in order to use the global modifiers for us, that means we're always going to give the NPCs another leg up. And that's the problem with the game, is they don't need another leg up. Let us have our power fantasy. Let us have it, you know? And that's the problem. It's like, we are written in the code as underdogs, and they will never let go of that. And it's just, it's a little frustrating, because it's like, hey, these power modifiers are temporary. They're going to change next season. Let us have them without the hostile modifiers. The hostile modifiers are a disincentive. Unincentive? Disincentive. Unincentive. One of those two, whatever the word is. You know what I mean? So it's just like, because if you don't like those hostile modifiers, the whole thing goes down the garbage chute, right? Okay, so that's something to look out for. But one of the things that I didn't like, this is going back to the global event. So you cannot use both of these. You cannot have the new system, the modifiers, just basically the seasonal journey, right? Think about that. You can't use your seasonal journey with global events. So in order to play Golden Bullet, you have to turn off your modifiers. So there's going to be an on-off switch. So which one is obsolete? Which one is obsolete? Are global events now obsolete? It's like they're a side show? Or is the global modifier system obsolete on arrival because the global events are better? Right? And so one of the things I've said in the past is like, I would love it if we had access to the global events like we do directives. We can turn them on and off for the open world whenever we like. And that's basically what they provided us, but they're calling it global modifiers, right? It's like the global events. There's modifications to our abilities. That's what global events are. That's what Golden Bullet is, right? It's a modification to our abilities and to the NPC's abilities. So there's a tit for tat system there. And that's exactly what the global modifiers are. But unfortunately, it makes the global events redundant because you have to choose one or the other. You can't enjoy them both at the same time. You can't stack those abilities. And I get why. I understand the reason. But what that means is that they need to rework global events so that they work for this, so that they synergize with this system. You know, not so that we can not utilize our buffs during the season calendar. That we have to make a choice. You know, go back to the legacy system for global events. You know, you're working hard to logging out here. We're working hard to unlock these abilities, is my point. We're working hard to unlock these abilities. So you don't want to turn them off for any reason if you can prevent it. You know, not even for global events. So anyways, it sounds like a little thing, but for me, I feel like it's a big deal. It's a big deal. I feel like we're losing a chunk of our content. And I don't feel like that was really well thought out. I feel like the whole global events thing seems like an afterthought, and that's a problem. Because if you think about it right now, we get the new gear, and then there's the Manhunt, and what's the other thing? Global events. That is our season right now. And with the new system, global events are not part of that prong, that 3-part prong, you know? It's like, oh, well, you know, you're going to have to make a choice. You want to play global events or you want to play the season? I mean, that's the question. You want to play global events or you want to play the season? It's up for you to decide, but you can't have them both because you're going to break the game, and we're not ready to do that, power-wise. It's like, shit. Well, I want both. I want to enjoy my new buffs and unlock the seasonal caches through the seasonal vendor, whatever. If that's even going to be in the game. I don't know. Anyways, I got to process that more once we see it, but I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So something to keep our eye on is all I'm saying. The other thing we're going to need to keep our eye on is there's no DLC news, and they immediately brushed that question off. And I thought that was an interesting response. Like, if you caught that, they just said, we're working on it. This is not the stream to talk about that. It was just like, whoa, you know? Yeah. And I know they keep a lot of details close to the chest, so that's not the part that worries me, but it's more like I've been under, you know, the reality that those changes all these changes are impacting the DLC, right? The seasonal character concept was probably part of that experience. Everything's linked. So I hope that they don't push that out again, I guess is my point. But what other worry did I have here? I think that's it. Oh, yeah, I guess, and then the gear thing, of course. That was kind of a, what? We're not going to get a look at the gear, like, and the exotics. But again, I'm not going to be too worried. I just think they really wanted to stay focused on Season 2.0 here, and that's technically just standard seasonal content. So, whew. No changes to PvP. They just some PvP balance changes. So I think that's just regular seasonal updates, but they went into zero detail about it. They just said that basically the only other comment to PvP was, yeah, cheaters are being banned on a regular basis, and then the modifiers will not work in PvP. So yeah, but mostly good. Right? Mostly good. I mean, I just, like I'm saying, you know, it's all good. It's all good. This is all good. My personal feelings, like I said, I just feel content about it. I'm not super excited about it, but I am excited to experience new in the Division 2. And this is new, and it's all good. It's a good new thing. But, you know, the downsides, like I said, are it's not super original. Not that we need it to be super original, but we've seen this system before, and it's been around for a while. These global modifiers, it's just, you know, a rework of what we already have in many ways, right? So, and then the other downside is that it's just not a pure buff. The hostiles are getting buffs too, and I hate that part. That's the worst part of it, is that just don't give more power to these overpowered NPCs. They're so overpowered in this game. Go play another game. Anyone. Any of them. These NPCs are so overpowered. They do not need more help. It's just, that annoys me. Yeah, but the scout system is really exciting. I mean, the Manhunt, I'm excited about that. I love riddles. Let's decipher that. I mean, what do you guys think about the time gate on that one? So that one's going to be dripped on a weekly basis. So, you know, I like what they're doing, but that's a flat out, that's a straight up time gate, right? That's a straight up time gate system. We see that in other games too, right? The First Descendant has it. Not to mention that again. I don't want to bring it up too much, but you know, they have it. They have daily invasions. They unlock every day, you know, so, and then they rotate. And people don't like it, you know, time gated things. I mean, at least it's daily, but this one's weekly, you know, and they do it because they want to drive back engagement throughout the whole season. So they want to give us a reason to come back in week 14, for example, whatever. So but it doesn't sound like, I mean, you know, some of these things could be like, you know, like 5-minute missions, you know what I mean? Like they could be really short, you know, and once the word gets out there, it's out there, you know? So when somebody says, hey, I figured out, and they do a video, and maybe it's me, maybe it's somebody else, but you know, they put out a video saying, hey, I figured out this is how you do week 3 or whatever, right? You go here, you go there, you go there, and it spreads. So the mystery is gone, you know? I mean, you could avoid that content, but what I'm saying is that if all the time is locked behind figuring out the riddle, well, that's not going to last, you know? And so a lot of these things might be just go to this room, pick up this comm, you know, pick up this piece of intel or something like that, you know, so. But yeah, so I'm really, but I gotta say overall, I am looking forward to season 2. There's gonna be a lot to cover here. We're gonna be busy. We're gonna have to go through all these changes. There's no way that PTS is gonna cover this. It never does. Even in standard seasons, okay, PTS never gets through this stuff. and then it changes in the real game, and then we have to test it all over again. I mean, we start seeing builds come out of the PTS, and it's just like, geez, please don't. new awesome Hunter's Fury shotgun build is just like, please don't do that. It's gonna change. It's just like, Jesus. And don't hide your PTS badge in the corner, please. If you are doing that, at least leave that. Most people don't even notice the PTS badge in the corner, but that at least lets us know that it's possibly have changed. But yeah, so that's it, guys. That's it. Can't wait to hear what you guys think about it. I know I've missed a lot of your chat stuff, but I'm sitting here trying to process it all. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut the stream because now I gotta go scout for some patch notes and also do a video. I'll probably do them separate. So I'm gonna recap this in one video and then, you know, process these thoughts more and give you my reaction in that video. And then I'll cover the PTS patch notes separately. And then fingers crossed we have a good PTS this weekend. All right, everybody, enjoy the new stuff. Catch you on the other side.